What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to be continuing our conversation about functions, more specifically talking about how to return information from them. But before we do that, I'd like for you to hear a word from one of our sponsor.
What's up, guys? It's your sponsor, Logan Quintana. So I pay for these videos to be produced, so you need to be learning, guys. I'm talking to you, Lyric. I'm talking to you. Other freshmen, I'm talking to you. All right. I think that concludes this message.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so we have been talking about functions, right? And functions are like a box with some sort of input, right? And we talked about inputs and how to send information to a function inside of those parentheses. And then, so now we're going to talk about getting information back from a function. And we already have experienced this already, although I haven't explicitly called it a function and that we were getting information back from a function. But let me demonstrate briefly here using yellow. So we're going to take, for instance, math.abs. And what this was a function that took the absolute value of some number. So let's just say we passed in a -3. What that would do is it would return 3. So this function here, this function did something to that number. Once it had performed that function, it returned a number. And effectively, this entire blob of letters, symbols, numbers became something else. And that is, it all became simply a 3. And so, and this is what happens effectively. You can imagine this is what happens when the interpreter is going through your code and it finds one of these functions that returns a value. So what is the point? What am I trying to tell you? Well, here's an example. Let's say that you are setting up a var and you want it to equal the absolute value of some number, -3. Well, what you would do is you would say var equals math.abs -3. Math.abs -3 would go out, it would do its work on -3 and return a 3. Effectively being something like this, where var equals 3. We've seen that before. We've been able to set a variable to a number before, right? So, this is how this is the function simplified down to what it's going to return in this particular instance. Okay, so let's actually write out what we had before. So the simplest definition of a function, right, is function. That's how the interpreter knows that you're defining a function. And we've been defining something called func. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of room there with our parentheses. And then we're going to end this function. And so that's the framework, right? So last class we defined a couple variables or boxes that would take the values passed into a function, and then we could do some work on those variables, so the x and the y, right? Well, in order to return something from your function, all you do is you write return, and then following it, what you want to return. And in this case, I'm going to use parentheses. I don't know. I can't remember if you have to or not, but it's kind of a safe thing to assume. We're going to do open parentheses x plus y, and then close it with a close parentheses. So what this is going to do is it's going to return x plus y. Nothing too fancy, just to demonstrate the application of this, right? And so that's the definition of our function. Now, if we're going to call it, we got to remember that whenever we call it, it's going to send information to the function, return information, and become whatever it has returned. So let's say that we've said var equals func, and then 2, 2. What'll happen then is as the interpreter goes through this code, it will eventually take function and substitute it out for 4, right? And so you will eventually have a 4 there, and then the 4 will get dumped into the box called var. Okay, I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Let me now show you on VS Code how we write that out, which is basically the exact same thing as I've shown you here. But anyway, so let's head on over to VS Code. Again, if you don't have this open, hit the VS Code icon over on the tool tray and taskbar, whatever you want to call it. And then pull up your script we've been working on. What you should find is some sort of simple definition of function, some sort of local function with a name and so on and so forth. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and in here type return, open and close parentheses, x plus y. And so you should be following along in your own script. So here we have return x plus y. Now think about this, okay? Think about this.